Hi, I'm Taryn Hunt, founder of Empowering Business Mums. I help busy business mums to run successful businesses around their families. So you know how sometimes this can get quite stressful and overwhelming, juggling everything? Well, I help to bring more clarity, balance and success into your life and business. I'm really excited to bring you the big review. This is an end-of-year business reflection to help you to gain closure on any challenges you've overcome and seek out those valuable lessons that will benefit you in the future. We're going to pave the way for an amazing year ahead and refocus, ready to celebrate even bigger successes next year. I'll be walking you through a reflection process to prepare for an awesome business year, having brushed away those cobwebs and got really clear about the highs and lows of this year. This will enable you to know exactly what you're going to take forward to next year, ready to prepare for some amazing future goals. You can repeat this process year after year, so make sure that you keep hold of this video and workbook so you can use it whenever you need to. So, are you ready for some important reflection to prepare for a new exciting chapter? Let's get stuck in. Okay, so first of all, we're going to go back to the beginning of this year. Where were you in your business? Is this your first year in business? Or was it the beginning of a new venture for you? Or have you been in business for a few years now? What was happening for you this time last year? If you've got your work in front of you, I've left you some spaces to write down the answer, maybe jot down some key words. I'm going to give you some time to write things down during this video, but if you do feel that you need more time, you can always pause the video, you can go back, you can cover other questions, so you can miss things out. If you don't feel that you're ready to write down the answer to those, you can come back and reflect a little bit later. How did you feel about the year ahead? Were you excited? Were you keen to make a big difference? Were you raring to go? Or do you know what? Was it an apprehensive time for you? What was going on for you this time last year? Did you set yourself any goals? So what were those goals? See if you can put a rough idea of what you wanted to achieve. Make a note of any of those goals that you feel perhaps you didn't achieve and that you might need to carry over. Did you set yourself any financial targets? If you can remember what those are, jot them down. They'll be really useful for when you're setting your next year's targets. Did you even have any financial targets, or were you just hoping for the best? If you did, which one specifically did you achieve? Just going to give you a moment to go back over some of your answers there, jot down any more keywords. They'll be really useful when you come to set your goals for the year ahead to look over this again. Next, we're going to take a look at some of the key things that you've achieved during the year. What's happened this year in your business? Here you can just jot down any keywords, anything you feel that you've achieved in your business this year. If there's been things that you feel have gone really, really well, jot them down. If there's actual figures here, if you can make a note of any of those, whether it's the amount of new customers that you've gained, new contacts that you've made, things that you've done to help you in your business. From this list of things that you've just written down, what do you feel has worked really well? It might even help you to write down some new things here. What have you been really successful at in your business? What have other people complimented you for? Keep writing in those lines there. If you can always turn over if you need to add some more. What do you feel specifically proud of? What isn't working so well? What's happened this year that didn't quite go to plan? Don't get too hung up on these, but just jot them down. We're going to come back to those sorts of things. Anything here that maybe, from your point of view, perhaps you felt that it was a bit of a failure. It wasn't necessarily a failure because, after all, those are the best ways that we can possibly learn and grow. But that's the point. We're going to take a few of these things that perhaps didn't work quite so well in your business to see what you can change and what you can learn from them, because I'm sure they've helped you to grow. What were some of those key obstacles in your business? What do you feel has held you back a little bit? These obstacles, if there have been any obstacles in your business, have they been specific things that have happened? Or has it been anything to do with your own mindset? Or even anybody else that you've come into contact with? Just jot down any keywords that you can think of here. And who's supported you during the year? Have you had colleagues, friends, families? And any really special customers or clients who's kept coming back, or they've been particularly loyal? You can think of who would you like to say thank you to. Could you call on any of these people again this year? Including those clients and those customers who've stayed very loyal to you. They've come back for repeat business maybe. I'm just going to give you a moment or two to go back over some of those questions. Just take a little look through them and see if there's anything that you want to add to any of those sections there. So, reflection. So we're going to start thinking about, when those things have gone wrong, what is it that you've learnt from them? So how did you grow? And what are you proud of about how you handled those things? Maybe take one of the biggest things that you feel could have gone wrong in your opinion. And just remember, it's never necessarily a failure. There's always something that you can pull out from this that will be really beneficial to you next year. What held you back last year? Again, have a little think. Were these physical things that held you back? Was it to do with anybody else? Was it to do with yourself and your mindset? And if at this point you can think of ways in which you prefer it to be, so where you might have feel as though you've been held back in one way, how would you prefer that to feel? And that moves us on nicely to where do you need to grow? So if you've been held back in something where you feel you could grow by maybe learning or doing some research, or if it's anything to do with with yourself or your own mindset, what could you do to help yourself to grow? What areas do you feel that you could help yourself to move forwards in business? And what would you need once you've established those? What do you need to find, or what do you need to get? What do you need to do to enable you to grow? What do you need to leave behind? Sometimes in order to grow, we do need to leave some things behind. Maybe it's specific things, maybe it's people, maybe it's mindsets. If I talk about people, when we talk about leaving them behind or letting go of things or people, I think we don't necessarily mean that you don't ever have to talk to somebody again, but just sometimes we talk about people who fill you and raise you up and support you and help you to feel positive. But there are also people out there who might not necessarily make you feel that way. They may make you feel a little bit drained, perhaps. And the best thing to do there is, if there are people like that in your life, perhaps you can just reduce the amount of time or contact, or have a chat with them, find different ways of spending time with those people. How can you help yourself? What is it that you need to let go of? Sometimes that could be an outcome. If you had something that's happened in your business in the previous year and that perhaps it wasn't the outcome that you'd hoped for, sometimes you just need to let go of that and move forwards. Okay, so what are your biggest strengths in business? What do you find really easy? What comes naturally to you in business? What things do you feel you're good at that you'd like to carry forward to next year? Keep putting your pen to paper and jotting down anything that you can think of. Sometimes we find it quite difficult to write down our strengths, so maybe think about somebody who's close to you. If you were to ask them that question, what would they say that you're good at? And what are your biggest passions? Why did you start this business? What is it about this business that you really love? What do you feel passionate about? Just keep listing anything that you can think of. Is it helping people? Is it creating things? What is it that gives you drive behind your business? And what is it about your business that you don't enjoy? Sometimes there are things in our businesses that just have to be done, but we don't necessarily enjoy them. It's just necessary. Okay, so now we're going to start looking at the year ahead. So what would you like to have happen in your business next year? I'm not talking about setting specific goals here, but just jot down some keywords that are going to help you when you do sit down to do your goal setting. How would you like next year to be different in your business? Who would you like to help? What do you need to have happen in your business next year? And how would you like it to be or to feel? Do you want it to feel different this time round? Maybe you want to feel more clarity. Maybe a sense of peace and balance. Has it been a bit of an uphill struggle? Do you want it to feel a little bit more effortless? How would you like it to be? And how much time would you like to spend on your business? In an ideal world, what would that look like? Will you be working within school hours? And when aren't you prepared to work on your business? Have you always made that clear? Sometimes it's very easy to check an email or a text at night time and reply because you just want to get it out of the way, but think about any messages that might be sending to perhaps clients or customers that you're available 24/7. Is that how you want it to be? Or are there any boundaries that you might want to set for yourself? What needs to happen for you to achieve this? So what do you need to do if you want to feel a particular way about your business? If there are specific things that you'd like to have happen in your business next year, if there are specific times that you want to spend on your business, what kind of key things can you just jot down for now that will need to be a part of your goals to make this happen for you? What's important to you in business? If there was one key thing that was really, really important to you, what would that be? One of the things that perhaps you could mention in here as well is why. Why is that important to you in business? Why did you start your business? What is it about your business and your reasons for starting your business that keeps you going on a bad day? What's in it for you? Is it that you're running this business for your family? Are you running it around the children to give you more time with them, to make sure that you can be there at the school plays? Is this business here for you to make sure that you're paying all the bills that you need to pay without having to worry about them? Is it giving you little extras? What is it that's most important to you and your family, and why? What are your key business values and passions? So underneath all the nuts and bolts of your business that holds your business together, what are the underlying values of your business? What is it that you bring to people? Is it that you provide customer service? Do you provide quality products? Do you help people? Let's come back to your passions within your business. What is it that keeps you going? What do you feel passionate about within your business? Do you remember when we talked about the things that you don't enjoy earlier? So what could you do about those things that you don't enjoy? Could you delegate anything? Things that you don't enjoy, is it worth having a look over those to see what's actually necessary that you need to do? Can you get rid of any of those things? What else could you do about the things that you don't enjoy? Are there other people that you're connected to who do enjoy those things? Could you help them with something that they don't enjoy, and they could help you with something that you don't enjoy? Do a swap. How can you make life easier on yourself? Okay, so in your booklets, I've done a little summary for you to keep. You can keep that to hand for when you're setting your goals. You can cut it out. You can keep it somewhere where you might want to look at it again. But what I've done, you can see I've popped it here for you. So if we just go back over and think about this year, what have you let go of? So can you think of 3 things that you really want to let go of? As I say, they could be physical things. They could be to do with anybody that you're connected to. What are you going to do? Or it could be to do with mindset, or even just letting go of an outcome. So you might be working on these things at the moment, but if you put them into the past tense as if you've already let go of them, it will help you so much more to relate to those. Over on the right hand side there's 3 boxes where you can take your most successful strategies that you're going to take with you into next year. So when we've been talking about things like what's gone really well for you this year, what's worked, what are your strengths, some of those things that maybe you perhaps want to recognise those and just remember to take them forward with you into next year. What strategies have worked really well? Could it be things to do with how you're connecting to new clients or customers? What's worked well there that you could do again? And then at the bottom there I've put, what's the biggest thing I'm most proud of achieving last year? What was your biggest success in business last year? And then the final thing, what's your key theme for the year ahead? Out of all of these questions that you've gone through, what's really stood out to you that you want to take forward? Okay, so that's all the questions that I've got for you. What I'd recommend is we've only spent around about half an hour looking at these questions. So I'd suggest that maybe you perhaps replay the video with your workbook and pause in between the questions, see what else you can jot down, or even just to keep the workbook to hand over the next few days and perhaps just ponder on a couple of the key questions there, anything perhaps that you've missed out, or you could put some extra detail in there. It's really, really important to recognise what's gone well and to feel proud and to celebrate those things as well. So do spend a little bit more time just going back over those questions and seeing if you can jot down any extra bits and pieces to go with those. So what's next? When you've done all this, take a break. So take some time out with your family. Make sure that you celebrate all your achievements. Perhaps involve your family with that. Perhaps you can tell them all the things that have gone well for you this year. Pick a celebration and do something. Give yourself a treat for what you've done well. Be grateful and proud of what you've achieved during the year. It's so important. Tell your brain that you've done really, really well. It's very easy to be self-critical of things that perhaps haven't gone quite to plan, but those are fantastic because they're lessons that we can learn for the future, and they're opportunities for us to grow. But by celebrating, you're jumping off that hamster wheel of just keeping on and going on to the next thing and moving on to the next thing. If you take some time out, take a break and celebrate what you've done well, this is the perfect time to do that. When you're ready to start setting goals for the year ahead, get yourself a copy of our Vision and Action Planner, or join me on one of our group coaching programs or mentoring sessions. All you need to do is to contact me if you need more information. There's my email address for you. It's info@tarynhunt.com, or you can take a look at the website empoweringbusinessmums.com, where you'll see the things that we've got there that can support you, or just drop me an email. Let me know what you need and I can help you with that. So it just leaves me to say thank you. Thank you for taking the time out, and thank you for choosing this review pack to help you. I hope that you found it useful, and please feel free to join our free business support group on Facebook. You just need to search Facebook for the Empowering Business Mums group and ask to join if you haven't joined us already. So until we connect again, bye for now.